Hi, dear one, and welcome to Who Knows podcast.
Who knows what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah. Well, we actually had a comment from Prana in Sweden, and she wanted us to talk a little bit more about...
Because we had an episode where we talked about acceptance and letting go of fear, and she asked us to...
elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, talk a bit more about acceptance in more of a, like, dealing with certain issues and just kind of delving deeper into the whole idea of acceptance.
So, what do you think? Maybe we should do it in a little bit of different areas to talk about. So, lately, I feel, especially the last couple of years with the pandemic that's been going on, it's been a division. It's like two camps almost, with people that are completely following the mainstream media and the narrative and the programming and everything. And then there's another that is going completely not doing jabs or... So how do we accept each other in that? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, this is just my personal opinion on this, and it's just like, no matter what the topic is or the situation or the conversation, I believe that everyone has a right to their own opinion. So, like, agree to disagree, but obviously if you can educate each other without it becoming like an argument or just tense and uncomfortable, then please do. But at the same time, certain people, like, there's that saying, like, you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. So it's like, you can't really try to change someone's mind if they don't want it to be changed, you know? And if it's right for them, they'll eventually find, like, the truth and wake up, as we say here. And yeah, but I don't see that there needs to be, like, a conflict in between the two. It's just we're all on different paths and we're all on different levels of awakeness. Is that a word?
Being more aware,
Yeah.
mindfulness. Yeah, but it's a different... So if we bring that back to acceptance and no fear, because I feel there is and has been a fear of losing family members, friends, the connection we used to have with them. And then we really have to dig deep within ourselves to accept that this is my path and this is their path. And for me, it helps to think that it has to do with timing as well. Because I do believe in... Well, now we're digging really deep maybe, but in reincarnation and all that. But the timing for a lot of people, you know, we can't force anything on anybody, like you said. So it's tricky sometimes to accept that this is the way it is. It's like you said, you can't help anybody, but it's like a drug addict. Yeah. You, at the end of the day, you can be there for that person and you can love that person, whoever that is that you're trying to help. But at the end of the day, you cannot make that person to stop taking whatever drugs.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their decision to make.
So it's an acceptance in that, but it's still a fear that that person might OD on something and die.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the comment was talking a bit more about, like, I guess the whole, like, acceptance of acceptance, or, like, the use of acceptance and how to put it into your day-to-day life, I feel. And I mean, that is a very basic form of acceptance. It's just accepting that, like, agree to disagree. It's just like, this is your opinion, this is mine, you know, let's just Like, we don't have to fight over it. It's just, this is how it is. And opinions change all the time, so it's like, yeah. But when it comes to acceptance has been a very weird thing in my life for the past 3 years. Because I just kind of, I had never thought of it before, and then I kind of just woke up one day and I just had this like, oh, acceptance in my head. And it really changed my life because it made me realize how simple it is. Because we as humans, we love
to complicate it,
to overcomplicate
and analyze
every single thing about every single thing. And like, acceptance makes you realize it's not really that complicated, and like, if you just see it for the simple thing that it is and accept that it is that and not this complex version that you've created, it just brings so much peace and bliss to your like mind, at least for me. Like, because I psychoanalyze everything. I love doing that. But at the same time, with that, you can very easily spiral. So like, being able to just stop and say, hey, you know, it's not that serious, and just kind of accept and let it go and be like, it's okay. It's, yeah, I always try to teach acceptance to everyone that I meet, because it's like,
it's freedom.
Yeah, and it's like, there's so many levels to it, because it's like, you can accept each other, that's just like basic human decency, but then you can also like accept the deep dark parts of yourself, which is like a very hard thing to do. But at the same time, if you find a way to do that, I feel, again, it will just bring so much peace and light into you, because just being able to give that dark part of yourself a big hug and be like, hey, I love you, like, it's okay, I apologize, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you, all these things, just really full-heartedly accepting it, then it doesn't bother you as much.
No, absolutely true. But to get there, that's why Emmylou, my beloved teacher, probably gave me the name Kamala, which means acceptance of all.
Yeah.
And damn, that's something to, well, that's my life lessons. I need to be in acceptance of all, which is it's getting easier and easier, but something that Emmylou said when we were in satsang many years ago, she said, I think I brought it up in one of the other ones that we did maybe, but she said, oh dear one, you don't have to love you don't have to like everybody, you just have to love everybody. And I'm like, what? And I still say that to people sometimes when we talk about this accepting of others, and it's just like, I don't have to like everybody, but I have to love everybody, because then it comes up to a higher level of, yes, we are all connected as one energy, and then I can call somebody an idiot in traffic, but I can still
love them.
But it takes a bit of contemplating on that, so yeah.
But why don't you talk more about the whole Kamala and acceptance of all, and like how you've experienced that? And
well, okay,
because I know that it's been a bit of a struggle for you.
It's a challenge. I think it's a challenge, and also one part of me really likes a bit of judging, because it's like, oh, that's, but then I go, oh, I'm sorry, in my mind, because, so it's the mind, but as soon as I land in the heart, again, which is the longest journey we will ever do, from the mind to the heart, that goes away, and I can land in that and be in that acceptance of all. But when the mind is scattered, and there's, in yoga we say the vrittis, going on in the mind, which is just mind stuff. It's just nonsense. It's just stuff that we need to, rinse and clarify our mind from that. Then it's not so hard. But it's getting easier and easier, but it still comes up. But I just laugh at it at the moment. I'm not really... because in the beginning, when Eleni gave me that name and we were doing a lot of satsangs with her, I ended up judging myself as well, which is not a loop that you want to be in.
No.
Because I was looking at myself and then I thought, I'm bad, because this is the way I am. But I'm a work in progress. I'm a student.
Yeah, we are.
Otherwise I wouldn't be here. But talking about fear, so we've been talking about acceptance a little bit. So fear is all in your head. You can't package it. You can't give it to somebody. You can't send it in an envelope and say, oh, here's some fear. But what I've realized that you can do with love. And all emotions, I have understood, comes from love or fear. If you're angry, if you're upset, if you're frustrated or whatever it is, it normally comes from fear. Or it comes from fear. Or it comes from love. You're grateful, you're generous, you're happy, you're content. That comes from love. And that you can actually put in an envelope and send. But you can't do that with fear.
Well, I mean, you can. You could send death threats to people.
Wow. Yeah, but you know what I mean. You can't. It's not as easy. So again, with fear, I think it's a tricky one because I've never seen so much fear the last couple of years in my entire life.
No.
The fear I saw in the eyes in Spain when I wasn't walking around with a mask over my face. The fear in people's eyes when they looked at me thinking that I was contaminating them with the plague, because that was their belief and I had another perspective and information and belief. The fear that has been, so I called the pandemic, it was a pandemic of fear. That was the virus.
Yeah.
But how do you see a lot of fear in your age group these days?
I see mostly fear within themselves, not so much of the outside world, because I think that my generation is so incredibly stuck in their own head that we don't really pay attention to the outside world as much, because we're just constantly in our own head and just kind of thinking about the past and the future and the present and like everything that's been wrong and all those three, and like just overthinking. There's so much overthinking in my generation, and I think that's the fear that I see in my generation the most. Like I don't, like for example, like granddad's generation, like they fear more on the physical and the like outside world and things like that, whereas like I rarely see that in my generation anymore. It's so much just negativity towards oneself, because obviously growing up in this world, especially at this time, it is a lot to try to deal with. So I feel like it's easier, I guess, in a way to kind of get stuck in your own head instead of looking to the outside world, because the outside world is so complicated and it's so terrifying in certain ways and it's beautiful in others, and it's just too much and it's overstimulating. I think that's why it's just easier to go in that like little hole in the back of your mind. But yeah, I mean, fear is an interesting one because you can fear things without even knowing that you're terrified of them. Like there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of overthinking and things like that. And with overthinking, like 90% of this, like I'm a big overthinker at certain times, and 90% of what my brain comes up with is just complete bullshit, but at the same time I'm terrified of it because it's like, no, but there's a percentage that may be true, you know, and it's just like,
what if?
Yeah, exactly. That what if question, I have learned, I want to talk about that now, that I have learned that what if question is like, at least from what I've seen and experienced, probably one of the biggest reasons for like mental health issues. Because
Interesting.
Because if you completely remove that what if question from your mind, there's no worry, there's no regret, there's just acceptance. And like, there you go.
Interesting.
We made a little loop around.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that what if question, like I realized that a few years ago and I was like, damn, this, because I remember I would just constantly be overthinking and being like, what if this, what if that happened, what if this happened, what if I did this wrong, what if da 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 da, and it just completely like flooded my mind to the point where I was just like, I don't care what if or what that, like it's just, there's no point in thinking about it. But I just wanted to mention it because not a lot of people are aware of that what if question and how damaging it can be.
Yeah, what if and I should. I should doesn't do any good either.
Yeah, you should change it to I could.
Or I can.
Yeah. Bikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost track of where I was going.
No, you were talking about
I was talking
what
about
if?
a lot
What
of
if?
things. Yeah, what if? It's just, if you ever catch yourself like kind of getting stuck in that what if question, just kind of take a minute and just take a couple deep breaths. There's a breathing exercise I like to do. It's 4 seconds in, 7-second hold, and 8 seconds out. And I do that like for 5 breaths at least once a day.
Good. Through your nose.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
I didn't know you did that. That's nice.
There you go.
Some pranayama.
Yeah, that breathing exercise, because like when you hear the word breathing exercise, you're like, oh, that's like complex stuff. That's just like.
It's not.
No, but like.
It's just conscious breathing, basically.
Yeah, and like it's helped me with my sleeping a lot too.
Yeah.
Because it fully calms your mind. But yeah, if you get stuck in that what if question or any overthinking, just kind of take a minute and just take 5-10 minutes of your day and just sit and fully focus on your breathing, taking extremely deep breaths and letting every inch of air out of your lungs. And just, because to me, when I do those breathing exercises, it kind of just resets my entire body and mind.
Yeah, it's your life force. It's your prana.
Yeah.
I mean, breathing is so. What do you do when you get scared? You take a breath and you hold it.
Not
when you
hyperventilate.
No, but you go.
Yeah.
You know, you get start. You know, like that. You take a breath because that's your prana. That's your life force.
Yeah.
So, doing breathing exercises changed my life first. Before it changed, you know, I got into meditation. Because it's so noticeable.
It's such a simple thing that we forget to do. It's just breathe, like.
Yeah, but we just do it. We don't have to think about it. But if you start doing it consciously, it's a true life changer. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a few. Yeah, it's tricky to do with not have a video, but. There's many good ones if you look into the yoga.
Yeah,
Prana,
I mean,
yama.
The one I just mentioned is like a very simple one because like me personally, like I can't really be bothered to put a lot of effort into myself at certain times. So that's why like simple things like that really help, because if it's too complex, like for example, like that's why meditation for me is too complex, because there's so many like things added to it, at least in my head, and it's like I just can't do it. I mean, I can, but like it I feel like it's too much of a struggle for me to do and not that much of a benefit. Whereas like just a simple breathing exercise, like the one I just mentioned, that I can do. So I just wanted to share that specific one because I feel like at least people my age might also struggle with that.
Yeah, and especially sleeping is a huge insomnia problem these days. But I think it has to do with the screens as well.
I think that a big reason for this insomnia like issue with my generation has to do with the phones, but also a lot to do with overthinking because our brains are just constantly going at 1,000 miles per hour. It's like we don't really get a break, and I think especially when you're trying to sleep, like when you don't have your phone and you don't have something distracting you and you can sit there and let your mind race, I think that's why a big insomnia thing, like I've struggled with insomnia for I don't know, over 5 years now or something like that, and I'm still trying to find ways around it because things that work for some people.
But you have with the breathing, that helps.
Breathing, it helps to a certain extent.
But also, it's diet, what you're eating as well.
I mean, there's a lot.
You can eat a very balanced diet, and that will also help you calm down the nervous system, which needs to be calm if you're going to go to sleep. And the melatonin in the body and everything like that. But
there's a lot of...
Yeah, there's a lot of factors, of course. Yeah. But, yeah. I want to talk a little bit about, because I am still, I don't know what word to put on it, but overwhelmed about what you've been doing the last couple of weeks. Because this is something very new for a mother to realize that I have a psychic medium daughter. So to rewind the tape a little bit, I will just say this. First of all, ever since Emmylou was a child.
Since I was 11.
Younger. Yeah, it's from 8 till 9 you started. When we moved to the house in Spain, she started seeing ghosts and spirits and dead children running around in her room. She was actually having the attic room. Yeah, you're laughing, but it's
I'm Dad and I. Because it's just like, yeah, my daughter, she used to see dead children, and it's just.
Well, like, it's true.
Yeah, I know.
And you were so scared. You slept with a knife under your pillow for years, and me and Dad. We didn't know what to do because we haven't got that ability or that experience. Now she's laughing so much she's crying.
Oh, so funny.
But we took it seriously because we realized, we believe in whatever is on the other side. Not that I've seen it twice, I think, and I got really scared, and I don't want to have that ability. I don't want to have that gift. So, which is fine with me, but you were so upset for a while that we took you to see and have a one-on-one with Melanie G, our spiritual teacher.
Because I remember being a very young kid and starting to see things that nobody else can see. Everyone looks at you like you're crazy, right?
Not us.
No, not you, but everyone else around you is you need to go to a mental hospital type of thing.
Yeah.
And so, I refused for 2 years to, seek any form of help because you kept mentioning Melanie and things like that. But I just did not want to deal with, going to someone and then being oh, you're crazy, but here's, this.
Yeah, but the thing is that Melanie has experienced exactly the same thing when she was growing up. And she was so scared because she saw spirits and ghosts and the other side so much. They were all over in her room and everywhere, like you.
Yeah.
So that was the experience when you were little. And then I still don't know what happened in that one-on-one session, but after that you learned to control it and turn it off or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then fast forward till today, or a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago actually, we've been having some visitors from Sweden, family, and we started talking about that Emmylou likes tarot cards, and you've had your first deck of tarot, I think, when were you, like 14 or something, 13, 14, the first deck? And you've always, we've been drawing a card here and there, me and Dad, but we haven't really taken it so seriously. And then the subject comes up over dinner when my niece and her boyfriend is here, and they said, yeah, we want a reading, you can do us. And that's the first time ever, for me anyway, that I know of, that you actually did somebody, well, it's still family, but Johnny wasn't in the family, so, and you did a reading each with them, and then they were absolutely blown away. And then a friend of ours here in Bali got to know about it via Dad, and she wanted one, and you said, oh, okay, I can do that, and you were a little bit like, well, what am I gonna charge or what? And then you came up with donation basis, which is, I think, is beautiful to do it that way. Then it's very free flowing of that energy that we put so much.
Like if I put a specific price, then I feel like it kind of takes away from the whole thing, because then it seems like I'm doing it for the money, which I'm not. I'm just like, and that's a very like typical thing to say, like, I'm not doing it for the money, I'm doing it for this. Like, I just enjoy being, because it's also fun for me to kind of tap into those abilities again, because I haven't tapped into those abilities for, I don't know, like 4 years.
But I just have to finish what I started here, because Emmylou drives away and she's gone an hour and a half, and before she's actually come back home, this friend messaged us and say, she's absolutely blown away. She's like, she's so spot on. She got hold of my dad this, and she said things that nobody knows except me and him. And after that, you've done 3 more with people, 2 of them that we know very well. And you also got in contact, especially with one friend. His sister died just 3-4 months ago.
No, a year ago.
Oh, a year ago, sorry. And that was, they say Emmylou has got a power that they are just, they didn't have any expectation, and then you come home and they are like, oh, you're so spot on. So for me as a mother now, sitting in this position of having you helping people, first of all, in this way, which I think is so beautiful, because even though you believe in reincarnation or whatever, to have that confirmation that they are okay on the other side when they have left this meat suit that we're in at the moment, and they're free on the other side, and they're not suffering, or they didn't suffer when they died, or that is amazing, I think. But for me as a mother to hear this now from our friends the last couple of weeks, it's like, oh my God, what are you gonna do with this? And because I'm kind of looking forward now, and I'm like, okay, this is what
I mean, like, for me, it's very new, I mean, to get back into it, because like I kind of turned off these, at least the spirit world abilities for years, because it was like 99% of my experiences in that world were absolutely horrifying, and it's like traumatizing in every way. So it's like the thought of like turning that back on was just terrifying, and I didn't want to go back there. But and tarot has always been a very interesting thing, and I've been very drawn to it. And so I started doing just trying to practice tarot, and like doing some readings on me and like you and Dad, and just casually here and there. And then when I started doing readings for other people, then I kind of slowly opened that door into the spirit world. And like I forget that not everyone can see spirits, so for me it's not that big of a deal, but for everyone else, like every single reading that I've had where I've connected with someone that has passed, the person I'm giving a reading to is like crying their eyes out, and I'm like, okay, this is normal for me, but not for you, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
And like I forget that, because it's been part of my life like my entire teenage years and like even
or
younger.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fun, it's overwhelming at times, it's intense, incredibly intense at times, but it's like, I'm trying to, like, I know everyone says like, oh, like she was really helped me and that was amazing and this is that, but at the same time, like me personally, I feel like I could do a lot more. And that's why.
In what way though? How do you mean?
Like, I feel like I mean, this again could just be that overthinking brain that just hates me. That
Or that you want to accomplish more or better or.
No, but I feel like because I'm very beginner at tarot, like I know you keep saying like the cards, you really need the cards, they're just kind of guidance, and I'm like, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, like, they do help massively to just kind of guide my intuition in the right way. And I mean, learning tarot, there's 72 cards. Each card has 2 meanings, so it's 144 meanings you need to learn. And so, like, even though I don't know all the cards, like, I only know maybe 20 cards off by heart. But at the same time, like, I feel like if I got more comfortable to the point where I could just look at the card and be like, oh, like, I know what that means, like, that would really strengthen, I guess, the reading, because I feel, at least this is just my critical brain, that the readings that I'm giving out, like, in certain areas are very vague, where I would like to be able to...
More specific.
Yeah. And that's why it's like, it's not that mind-blowing to me, because it's like, yeah, but that's...
But it has been to
everyone. I know, but that's
you've
just like
only
my...
done, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've done 6.
Yeah.
And all of them you are so spot on, it's freaky. They are, and they are so grateful, and they think you're so generous because you say that, oh, is there anything else? And so I don't know why I brought this up. I think because I'm a bit in a shock.
I think you're more freaked out by it than I am.
Yeah, well, for you, it's like, it's like
Tuesday. Like.
Yeah, it's like you're breathing. This is just something that you have. But for me, it's very. Yeah. So and the word is spreading here in Bali now.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
fun.
Eventually, when I do get more comfortable with the things like I just said about, like,
doing it online.
Yeah, I'll be able to do.
Yeah, there's no stress,
no.
Darling. Whenever, this is something that... And I think for me, because I've asked a million questions since these 6 readings.
Like, Mom comes into my room, like, almost every night when she comes and says goodbye, and she's like, yeah, like, not goodbye, good night. Yeah. She's like, yeah, like, I'm gonna go shower and da-da-da, and like, yeah, good night. But wait, I have this question. And she's like, gets all giddy, and it's fun.
No, because for me, it's so... out there,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I cannot, and most things I can imagine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. I can, if I really, really put my mind to it, I can imagine. But this, so I got questions like, how do you hear or do you see? I'm like, but what worries me, if there's any worry in this, is that you get so drained. Not everyone you've done, but especially
I get drained because, like, for example, the last reading I did where I contacted this guy's sister, like, when it comes to contacting spirits, like, certain spirits are very chill and they're not so intense. It's just kind of, oh, they're there. But other spirits are so incredibly strong, and it's just like, they kind of just flood me with energy, and then after I'm just like, oh, that was a lot, and I just want to like take a nap for like a week. But like, yeah, I mean, you have come to me many times and been like, but can you like protect yourself and this is that, and like, I just keep telling you that I think that it's just getting used to it. I mean, like, because I haven't
Yeah.
been in this world for
No, and I mean it's
years.
nothing dangerous.
No.
You have a little nap and then you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but for me it's very new and huge for me to see you actually do this, because when you first did it with our family that was here visiting, I just I was like, oh, that's a fun thing to do, and then I saw their eyes coming out of your room. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah,
I feel like the reason why you're so kind of mind blown by it is like because you've known that I've had these abilities for like
well, not like this.
no, and that's what I mean, that it's I think is mind blowing to you because it's kind of proving that they're real in a way, because it's like, oh, this is actually affecting other people, this can't be fake. But like I can understand it from a parent's perspective when your 9-year-old daughter is like, I'm seeing spirits and like is holding a knife in her bed because she's terrified. That can be like, oh, like she might just be having nightmares, or like I get how it's hard to believe. I mean, yeah, it's a very weird and intense thing to think about, but I think that's why you're so like taken aback by it, because it's like, oh, this is actually not.
Well, I'm not taken. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. I'm impressed, and especially as it's helping other people. Tarot reading and everything, and looking into the future and all that. That's one thing which is fun, but this is actually something that heals. When somebody gets confirmation that their dead parent or grandparent or sister or brother or whatever is, that they're okay and that they're with you as well. That's a beautiful thing. So the tarot for the future and everything like that's another thing. But this I think is very, very beautiful, and I'm very proud of you. So, and it is big news for me. It's like headline news, and has been for the last couple of weeks in my life. I'm talking to everybody, or my close ones, about it, and they're like,
every time you
really?
leave the house, you come home and you're like, everyone's talking about you, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, eventually I'll get comfortable enough to do it online, and then people can reach out, and if they want a reading, go ahead. If they don't, then cool.
I think you're gonna be a
star.
Well, I don't know, darling, where this is gonna take you, and I think it's up to you completely where you want it to be, because it's it could be a very serious job for you in the future, or you can have it as a side hustle. It's completely up to you what you want to do about it. So but I think people will come to you and ask for it, so and then that's good to know as well in advance, if it's get too many, that you're entitled to say no.
But it's funny because like I just kind of got this like flashback to this memory, because even though I've never like, air quotes, professionally done readings before, like I have, like I remember in Spain I sat, we were sitting outside in the middle of the night just having like a deep conversation at night, like I usually do with people, and we started talking about like his dead dog, and I contacted his dead dog, and like I completely blew his mind. And
no
it's like,
way.
Yeah. And
the dog.
Yeah. And and he asked about like, because there was this one time where the dog ran away, and he asked about that, and I kind of could click into that memory and could see where the dog went, and he was having a blast. So like I kind of like
did the dog come back?
Yeah, I mean, he came back and then he died, but like but it's just funny because like it's just such a casual thing in my head, but it's weird to
For other people, it's
'cause
freaking them out.
Yeah, it's like introducing someone to blinking. It's like, this is normal. And they're like, what? And it's like, yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing I'm getting into, and I need to get used to it. And the fact that it's not a normal thing.
No, it's not. No. It really isn't. It is for you, but not for the rest of the world. And some people say to me, yeah, I think everybody has those abilities, but they're a little bit sleeping and you can actually wake them up and train them. I doubt that very much. I doubt that I could. No, I don't think so. I think some people really have it naturally. Maybe you can go, there's workshops and trade retreats and everything but I think with like you've always had it. So it's I
mean, some people are just born with it, and others, if they want to, have to take years to develop them.
To develop, and wake them up or open the gate or whatever Yeah.
It's a weird world.
Well, it's a new journey for me and for you. Wherever that's going to lead you, no idea. But it's beautiful to watch how you have helped the ones that you've done it with so far.
Yeah.
So we're coming up to the end of our time. Time flies when we're having fun.
Yes.
So, and that's some news, which is headlines the last couple of weeks for Emmylou. Myself I'm writing now. So I'm sending out a weekly, because I like to write every week on Wednesday, which is a free subscription. And we can put the link down here, and it's now on our website as well. We have all the podcasts are on the website awakenunite.com.
Oh, your website.
Yeah, it's my website. We
have a website.
No. Okay, so my website is only 2 pages. It's my newsletter, and then it's our podcast. So, but it's on the domain awakenunite.com.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, we put it there as well. So until next week on Thursday, stay curious and grateful, and take care.
And accept and let go
of fear.
And love.
Yeah. Loads of love and love to you.
Bye.